Hello and welcome to the big picture. The issue of reservations and how it should be continued has become an issue of controversy once again. On the one hand, the Congress party last week announced an additional manifesto in which it has promised to provide reservation to backward Muslims, apart from including all Dalit converts into other religions like Islam and Christianity, the status of scheduled caste. On the other hand, a former union minister and BJP leader, Dr. C.P. Thakur, came out with a statement seeking an end to all reservations. BJP's ally Ramvilas Paswan has strongly criticized Dr. Thakur's statement. The issue of whether reservations should continue in the same form or more groups need to be added or some groups have to be eased out are all issues which continue to be contentious. Today we will discuss the issues raised by the recent statements and see whether there is a need for modification or extension or even abolition. To discuss this, I have with me Sheshadri Chari of the BJP, Salman, spokesperson of the Congress, Kamal Farooqui, former chairman Delhi Minorities Commission, and Paul Divakar, convener National Campaign for Dalit Human Rights. Welcome to all of you. Mr. Chari, your party, was quite taken aback by your own party leader's statement about, abolishing the entire system of reservation. I'm sure there has been a rethink on that. And you think that these kind of statements coming from leaders has some basis in the society and in your party?
No, it was his own statement, and it was not meant to be a statement as per se against reservation. It was in a particular context.
What was the context?
So the context was that extending reservation to the continuation of job reservation and then further reservation to Muslims 4% reservation from out of the OBC quota.
Right.
So these were all the issues. Basically what has happened is the party stand on reservation is not changed. Notwithstanding that fact, the fact is I think we probably talk about reservation only during elections, and that is the most unfortunate part of the whole reservation idea also, right, per se. The first talks about reservation started something like 1935,
right,
the Pune Pact and other things. We need not go into the history of it. But when the first list of reserved community list was shown to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, he expressed a shock and surprise at the list. He said, I expected 6 to 7 caste names and you have got 429 names. What about this? How did you include? That was his first reaction. That was the reaction of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. And do you know today we have got 1208 castes. And you know what is the basis of reservation as per the constitution? Those who are so-called quote-unquote untouchables in the Hindu pantheon, Hindu idea.
So-called. You don't believe that there is untouchability.
And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
And those who are engaged in unhygienic profession. These are the two reasons. Do you think people still engage in unhygienic professions today? Number one.
They do.
Do you think people still have that kind of, if going by Article 17, untouchability has been banned. After banning untouchability, how did you add 1208 more castes into the list of reservations?
Dowry is banned.
So you cannot, it defeats its own purpose.
So now what are you trying to say?
What I am trying to say is, why is it that it is only during elections that we discuss reservation, and after that the political parties forget it, and all those who propagate themselves as the messiahs of Dalit, they also don't talk about reservation for the next 5 years.
Yeah, but everybody uses reservation.
Absolutely, that I fully agree with you.
Now we have, anyway, let me get Salman Soz. Salman, it's your party which has come out with this additional manifesto, promising these things. Is it some kind of an afterthought? Why was this not included in the manifesto in the first place? Is this something which has been done obviously because you say aimed at the elections where you see that your party is slipping in the popularity charge and you are having problems? That's why you have come out with these promises at this point of time?
No, not at all. By the way, as Mr. Chari was going on, I thought he was at the end going to say, we should not have reservations at all, because I think his stream of consciousness almost took him. It betrayed something that he probably feels inside. Look, and by the way, on the Congress's manifesto, there are no separate manifestos. There's one manifesto with a detailed action plan, and everything is part of that. So what the media initially saw was just the summary part of it, but I haven't seen the details, and this is part of the details.
No, this was not an additional, this was an additional thing which you brought out last weekend.
No, I think it became, there is no, the people started saying there's some sort of a sub-manifesto. There is no sub-manifesto. There is one big manifesto with a detailed action plan, and all of these things.
So your manifesto will come out in different phases, kind of, like the election.
Overarching this. No, actually, there is a detail. I don't know if people, I was surprised that many people are not aware that we have a 52-page action plan, not just a manifesto of the 15 points, more than that. But fundamentally, I think we have to understand that our country has a lot of people who historically have been left behind, who are part of the marginalized communities in this country, who have suffered a great deal because of whatever historical prejudices that might have come about. We cannot suddenly become America. And by the way, in America, affirmative action until just recently had still been going on more than 200 years after their independence.
Mr. Salman Soos.
Very young democracy.
Mr. Salman Soos.
We have lots of marginalized communities.
Let us not go into that
on that path.
Mr. Salman Soos, let us not go into the history, which is pretty well known. My question is, why is Congress using this time to come out with these kind of promises when it should have done earlier? And another is Mr. Chari's question, which, I'm not endorsing what he says, but the question is, what he says is that, these issues come up only during election time. Post elections, it gets forgotten, and then again it resurfaces during election time. Is this not a problem? And that's because of which there is no proper debate which happens in a peaceful atmosphere.
No, these things do not get forgotten, because obviously a lot of work keeps getting done, and that is, these reservations do get implemented. That for Dalit Christians and Dalit Muslims, there is a case in the Supreme Court about how they are excluded right now. Those cases are being fought. It's taken a lot more time than anyone would want. But these things are in the public domain and have been in the public domain for a long time. During elections, issues get accentuated, and then we might feel that, we are only talking about these issues now. But these issues have been going on for a long time.
Okay. Yes, very quickly. You wanted to interject?
No. I'm only saying he was talking about affirmative action, and he was also talking about the list of things, some 54 pages and all that. It doesn't speak anywhere about Muslim reservation, right. And it is an afterthought. Probably they think that the Muslim vote bank which they are lost in the UP and Bihar areas, if they want it back, they are now again, like Dalits, the Muslims are also used as a vote bank, and this is the carrot and the stick policy that they are adopting, whereby they are telling you that, look, 4% of the OBC reservation will be taken away from the OBC and given to Muslims.
4.5.
4.5.
Mr. Farooqui,
I have understood the whole thing, and
you understood. And do you think that this is being done by the Congress party, as Mr. Chari charges?
Yeah, two things, both for Mr. Chari and Mr. Salman. In fact, yes, unfortunately, this is during the election time. These things are coming up, and I agree with Salman. In fact, there is no sub manifesto, and this manifesto already consists of the minority reservation point.
What about reservation to Dalit Christians and Dalit?
That is very much there,
Muslims.
and that is pending in the court. 4.5%. That is not, and let me correct very clearly, it is not for the Muslims, it is for the minorities. The word is minorities, not the Muslims alone, number one. Number two is, yes, we have been fighting for the injustice, rather I would say the constitutional fraud which has been committed to the Christians and Muslims. Earlier it was for Sikhs and Buddhists also. In Article 341 never says about it that it has to be, Mr. Sheshadri is a much learned person than me. Nowhere it is mentioned that it is only for the Hindus. It was a mistake, blunder by the Congress which was done, and we have been fighting for it that remove this. And Salman Saab would agree with me that this particular case is pending in the Supreme Court for the last 4 years.
Yes.
And the Congress government has not yet filed their affidavit. Why? That is a very important question. But this is not the time to discuss all these kind of things. Another very good thing which has happened today, Mr. Sheshadri has really said that there is absolutely no space for reservation. What C.P. Thakur has said, Absolutely, this is the stand of the party, in fact, that they are against the reservation. Let me tell you very frankly, in this country, reservation is for the people who have been suffering for thousands of years. And we have seen it that even after the reservation, they have not reached to the top. So, as far as the Dalit reservation is concerned, that's a must, and that should continue up to the time when they reach to the equal level. Unfortunately, in this country, the people, instead of having the commitment for the Dalits, they are making kind of remarks which absolutely humiliate not only the Dalits but the entire. I am feeling ashamed of what Baba has said. In fact, but this is not the issue. But definitely, this is in fact the mentality. Whether it is C.P. Thakur or Baba Ramdev, they are totally against Dalits, and that they have been exposed.
Divakar, you think that this, it's a very hugely contentious issue, providing reservation to Dalit Christians and Dalit Muslims. And now the case has been before the court for the last 4 years, as Mr. And the attempt made by the Andhra Pradesh government had also been struck down by the High Court there.
That is for
4.5.
4.5.
So both the things are actually contentious. OBC, if you want to bring them under OBC, there is a Andhra Pradesh High Court judgment.
Sir, they are already in OBC.
They are already in OBC in some states.
Quota within quota.
Yes. There, in some states, in Karnataka, in Kerala, there has been quota within quota.
Tamil Nadu.
And so this they want to extend it to other parts. But my question is about the Dalit Christians and Dalit Muslims. You think that the government will be, any government will be able to carry it out?
See, let's look at the reality first. The reality is, scheduled castes have been scheduled castes not because of the religion they profess,
absolutely right,
but because of the caste identity. I think first, that is even the Constitution says very clearly.
Paul, let me. One second.
Let me just finish that.
My question is this: when you say that scheduled caste in whichever religion, the whole idea of scheduled caste converting into either Christianity or Islam or Buddhism or
it was never an issue till 1950.
It was not an issue.
Presidential
but the whole
order.
idea, the whole idea was to overcome this. The stigma which was attached to them.
Right, but let's
the
look at the
argument
reality.
is, why do you want to go back and get
let's
the
look at the
stigma
reality.
back?
The aspiration of the people is always wanting to liberate from their caste stigma. That is there. But then when you look at the reality, irrespective of whichever caste, whichever religion scheduled caste enters to, that particular religion that he professes, he still is considered or she still is considered untouchable.
So the conversions have not proved. The conversions have not proved
atrocities, whether in UP, whether in Andhra Pradesh, whether in other parts of the country, irrespective of the religion, scheduled castes have been raped, have been killed, and have been continuously been exposed to discrimination. When that is the case, the presidential order of 1950, which says that only certain religions, I think it's one of the biggest blunders that
not certain religion, only Hindu. There is no Hinduism.
Later Sikh were given, Buddhists were given, and if you look at the entire Maharashtra, the conversion has been towards the Buddhism. But still, even then, if you look at Kailanji and many other places, they are still being discriminated. So, to set it right, I think that flaw that exists because of the 1950 presidential order needs to be removed. And one of this, I think it's still in the Supreme Court, as it was brought that 5 years till now, not even a single petition has been filed by the government on the Supreme Court.
Mr. Chari, his point that, the discrimination continues whether they are in whichever religion and things like that. So, what is the problem? If you have accepted the fact that, reservation has to be given to scheduled caste Hindus, now, converts to Buddhism and also converts to Sikhism, then what is the problem in allowing both the Christians and the Muslims also to enjoy the same kind of privilege?
See, this, as you very rightly pointed out, it was a social stigma, and the entire idea of untouchability which was practiced in Hinduism was peculiar and unique to that particular religion. You don't have this kind of untouchability in the Vatican, you don't have untouchability anywhere else.
People here
so it was very peculiar.
And by the way,
therefore, since it was
is there any Sikh?
Actually what has happened is, I think both the church and the Hindu society will have to deal with this issue. If the church keeps on saying that, look, no matter what happens, the moment he is born in a scheduled caste family, whether he is a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu or whatever it is, he has to be in that community, in that caste forever, for generations to come.
But
Is
don't
it
you-
what?
no,
I
no,
mean, is it logical?
It's not-
Is
let's
it
not
doing
talk of
any
logic.
service? Are we doing any service to the scheduled caste themselves?
Mr. Sheshadri, Chari,
Are we?
let us not get into
What are we?
arguments on basis of
What are we
logic and
basically for?
ethics.
What are we basically
I'm talking
for?
of the reality.
Even if I am looking at it from the church's point of view, will the church be happy that the whole of India is caste ridden and the whole of India becomes Dalit and they all become into the reserved category?
Yes, Paul.
I mean, what a fallacy.
I
I think the church should come out and say that look, thus far and no further. This is enough. If you are a Christian, you are not an untouchable. You are not a Dalit.
So you don't
That kind of a bold
so you don't
statement
need,
I
and you
expect
don't
from the
need
church.
and you don't need reservation.
Exactly. Let us be very
Not
firm
just the
on it.
church. What about the Muslims?
Yeah, I think they can all come out and say. As a Hindu, I feel absolutely ashamed that we practice, the Hindu society at some time practiced untouchability, and Hindu society in this constitution has provided that untouchability is a sin. It cannot be done. It was Mahatma Gandhi who
But
said
it continues
and we
today.
have practiced.
Do you agree that it continues today also?
No,
You don't agree?
No, it would be very wrong to say that it continues today. Yes, if there are pockets where it is continuing, it is unconstitutional,
It's unconstitutional.
unlawful.
I'm
It
just-
should be taken into that,
I'm just-
and law should take
No,
its own course.
I'm just back from Varanasi, where in the morning today I met a group of, I went to a Dalit basti where they still feel that they are treated as untouchables. Anyway, Paul.
See, one is let's keep the foundational religious structures away, because this is not about religion. This is about a culture that is discriminated. Let me also tell you, for the sake of information, that in Senegal, which is a Muslim country, you have discrimination based on a culture. This irrespective of the fact that they are all Muslims. They have separate graveyards. In Pakistan, they are practicing discrimination irrespective of their. In Bangladesh, you have. In Nepal, you have. So this is a phenomena that is taking place across many countries, Latin American countries, here in Asia, of course. In Japan, there is a community called Burakumin in the Buddhist religion that has discrimination. So all those countries, I think the champion of those countries which is having this kind of affirmative action to have a level playing ground is India.
But
And I
none of
think
these
India,
none
let
of
me
these
finish.
communities
No,
demand
let
reservation.
Let me finish. Yes, they are all having, if you look at Japan, Buraku communities have enjoyed reservation. In Pakistan, it is taking place. In Nepal, they have now got it both in this thing. So it is necessary to have these processes to level the playing ground so that all citizens will be able to
Salman, level playing, you think this will bring about any level playing field? You think that the reservations which has been in existence now for the last more than 60 years has brought in level playing field? And you think that this is the only way to bring about level playing field?
I think this is one of the ways. I mean, of course, you have to create awareness and other things which can really help as well. But you know, this is important. This is needed. Notwithstanding the fact that Mr. Sheshadri's party, Mr. Chari's party, they do talk about, you know, we need reservations and other things. Every time somebody goes errant, and Mr. C.P. Thakur, who speaks from the heart, or even Mr. Chari, who hinted that this is in his heart. You know, maybe the top leadership of the BJP isn't really into reservations, but they cannot, because of political reasons, come out in the open and say we don't really want it. The other thing is that, you know, when your own leader talks about, you know, some sort of God-given job of manual scavenging for Balmikis and other things, it really goes into the mentality of what some of these people are thinking. And then they talk about there is no, this discrimination is not really there anymore, it's very limited and all that. Let's wake up. There's a lot of discrimination in this country. We're a poor country. We have cultural issues. We have cultural prejudices which are historical in nature. Please don't kind of just because you live in nice homes and AC rooms and other things, think that everything is like that and the market is going to correct everything. Or God must have divined.
No, that's not the
There
point.
are people who live in serious difficulties.
That's not the point.
I'm very
they're
glad.
Indians, and we need to bring everybody along.
No, I'm very glad that Salman is able to look into my heart I don't know. That's a great quality.
It's
a great quality.
thing. No, it's a
But
great
I
thing
think-
for this country
I
that
think-
if a congressman can look into the heart of the BJP,
BJP, very
and
good,
the
very
BJP
good.
person can look
I
into the
think
heart
they
of the
will have,
congressman.
they will have 5 more years to look into all our hearts. That's a different story. But what is more important is look at my heart in its totality. Don't look at only that particular corner which propagates the Hindu ideology. Look at the whole heart. My heart bleeds for the Christians, my heart bleeds for the Muslims, my heart beats equally for the Dalits also.
No, but
And
when
my
your heart is
also
bleeding, you
bleeds.
don't want them to
Then
get
come with
anything.
me to the Supreme Court, Mr. Chari. Come with me to the Supreme Court.
So Supreme Court, we
Come
have
with me to
already
the
gone to
Supreme
the
Court.
Supreme Court. The idea is the Congress party has to file an affidavit. The government of India
You come with
has
me.
to file an affidavit. If it has not been done, I am sure after May 16th, we will be in a position to file an affidavit. Don't worry about it. We will do it. But what is more important is, let us discuss this issue not only from the point of view of Dalit, but also from the point of view of empowerment. And if you talk of empowerment, I think there is a logic in saying that those who are converted should also come out and say, just as the Supreme Court spoke about creamy layer, I think if Christianity and Islam says that we have no caste differences, we have no such prejudices, all human beings are equal, that is exactly what the Hindu philosophy also says. But these things
But
could have
is it
happened in
followed?
something.
No, no,
But
Mr.
if these
Chari,
things are not
society,
followed,
that's a very
if
excluding
these
that.
things are,
We are
no,
not
and what I am
excluding
saying
each other.
is,
There
if
is a
these
wider
things are
society.
followed, please listen to me. If these things are not being followed by Sheshadri Chari, what prevents Salman Soos from following it? Don't give up your own religious edicts. That's what I am saying. Teach us,
No,
teach us
that's
some,
fine. But
teach us
Mr.
some
Chari,
lessons.
Mr. Chari, I would just say that Muslims, it's not as if, Mr. Chari, it's not as if Muslims live just by themselves. We live in a society. We live in a community. We're all there together. I know that there are some places in India where, Hindus live separately, Muslims live separately, but that is not what we want to encourage. We want everybody to live
I have got
together.
another
No, but
technical
yes,
everybody lives
yeah,
together.
okay, Salman.
Salman, what I am
One
trying to
second.
say, Salman, what I am trying to say is,
Mr. Chari, let Mr. Farooqui come in.
I have got another technical point, in fact. First, let me correct everybody over here. It is not on the basis of the Hinduism. It is not on the basis of the religion. It is on the basis of the caste and the profession, in fact, which they are following. So we have given them a level playing.
Untouchability.
Untouchability is
and
one of them.
unhygienic.
Unhygienic there.
Constitution says
Sir,
these two
sir,
things.
unhygienic, even the Muslims are having that profession in Bihar.
Correct.
Even Christians are having that kind of profession. So they are also entitled for this. This is number one. It has to be clarified that this is not on the basis of the religion. Number one. Number two, if it is on the basis of the religion and if it is on the basis of the untouchability and the what actually he is talking, that the Islamist Christian does not talk about untouchability. My dear friend, tell me how Sikhs got it, because even in Sikh religion there is no untouchability.
There is not
untouchability.
It doesn't,
Buddhism. How did Buddhism?
Why
not supposed
Buddhism?
to have untouchability.
Buddhism totally is against the untouchable. Why
Or
it is given to
Buddhist.
them?
Or Buddhist.
It is given to them. The number three is that yes, Congress has blundered a lot. So we have been demanding for the last 5 years. File an affidavit. Supreme Court has simply asked whether this 1950 order is discriminatory in the Constitution, Article 16 or not. They should have simply said, we have been demanding that say that it is discriminatory or don't say it is, then we'll say it, we'll fight it in the Supreme Court, but they are not filing. I'm happy that Mr. Sheshadri has said, if he is coming, he will definitely file an affidavit.
I'll do that.
Any
I'll do that.
affidavit is acceptable.
What will be the content of the affidavit?
Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
There could be only two contents. One, that no, it is not discriminatory. Another could be, yes, it is discriminatory.
Mr. Chari,
Then the Supreme
is it
Court will decide
discriminatory
about
or not discriminatory?
See,
1950
there
order
are-
is discriminatory
there
or not
There
discriminatory?
are a number of people, there are a number of experts on this issue. So we don't have to go into these details. I think we should still wait for a further debate on this issue. We can always go to the Supreme Court and tell them that look, we have wanted greater debate on this issue and a more educative debate. And on the basis of that, I think we can all take a response. We can include the church, we can include some of the most important Islamic scholars in this, we can have Buddhist scholars, we can have Sikh scholars, we can have Hindu scholars, we can all sit together, and the scourge of untouchability or the Dalit, to say that a section of the people in my own country are Dalits is actually a repulsive thing.
No, Mr.
We don't
Farooqui,
have to we don't have
okay.
to pat ourselves on the back that we have added 1,208 castes into the Dalits.
No,
I mean, this is nothing to be patting upon.
Every government has been adding caste to
It's a
whether
shame.
it's OBC or scheduled
Unfortunate.
caste.
It is
Every
unfortunate.
government of every political color has been
exactly,
adding.
I'm saying it is unfortunate.
Sheshadri bhai, Masaj, you have been so kind. You have said so many good things about it. But please don't, for heaven's sake, don't say it that you are ashamed of the reservation. No, we should not be ashamed of the reservation.
No, I'm not saying reservation. I am ashamed of this idea of Dalit, this idea of untouchability.
That is
the
there,
idea
unfortunately,
of some people.
for thousands of you can't change it.
In these,
For thousands of years.
Mr. Farooqui, my question, we are running out of time quickly. 4.5% reservation for minorities within the OBC quota. Is this something which is acceptable? You think it is practical?
It is practicable. It is already existing in 4 states. Karnataka pattern is the best. But what actually Congress committed mistake last time also, this time also, that there is a procedure for all those kind of things. They have to appoint a commission. They have to go into all those kind of things, because you cannot say it on the eve of the election that 4.5% be given. Before that, they have to go in for all these details. And the minorities who are suffering, who are not, because Article 15, 16 is very clear. There should not be any discrimination.
Very quickly.
If they are like
Paul,
so,
they
should get quota within quota. What is the problem?
In addition, we have to see it in 2 ways. One, that it gives certain privileges, and then other, which is very important today, it protects certain things. So what we were also asking them is, you wait a minute after a while in terms of the privileges, but at least ensure that Christians who happen to be scheduled castes, who are being killed, as you've seen in Sundur and others, also protected, and Muslims. So I think there has to be a protection, and that is urgent basis that has to be brought in, irrespective of religion.
I think on that note, we need to end. We completely run out of time. But the fact is, this is a debate which needs further discussions and every political party should come out and discuss this in an open atmosphere instead of using it only for election purposes. Hopefully, we will see a more proper debate happening once the elections are over. Thanks to all my guests, Mr. Sheshadri, Chari, Salman, Kamal, Farooqui and Paul Divakar. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue on Big Picture same time tomorrow.